Nobody prepares you for this moment, not the success, not the applause, not the money, the moment before everything changes. Before the billion, before the headlines, before the success story, there is always a quiet decision. And most people walk away from it. In 1994, Jeff Bezos had what most people spend their lives chasing. A stable, high-paying job, security, a predictable future on Wall Street. He wasn't struggling, he wasn't desperate, he wasn't broke. But he noticed something. The internet was growing at over 2,000% a year. And he felt a tension: stay where it's safe, or step into something uncertain and risk looking foolish. His colleagues thought he was reckless. Friends questioned his sanity, even his parents invested hesitantly. He wasn't leaving to become a billionaire. He was leaving because he didn't want to live with regret. That's the part history rarely emphasizes. We celebrate the outcome, but the defining moment was the decision. Not success, decision. Now pause. Because Daniel Cole is standing in his own version of that moment. No hedge fund salary, no venture capital, no industry advantage. Just a stable income, a modest apartment, parents who worked hard but never built wealth, and a quiet thought he doesn't say out loud: there has to be more than this. Daniel isn't broke, but he isn't building anything either. His life works, but it doesn't grow. At dinner, his family reminds him, be grateful, don't risk a good job, stability is success. And he understands them. They survived, they sacrificed. They chose safety because safety protected the family. But Daniel notices something uncomfortable. No one in his bloodline has ever created wealth. Not because they lacked intelligence, not because they lacked effort, but because they chose security over ownership. And if he chooses the same path, the cycle quietly continues. So he doesn't quit dramatically. He doesn't announce a grand plan. He starts small. He studies financial systems. He builds skills after work. He saves more aggressively. He invests in education instead of comfort. It isn't impressive. It isn't loud. It's disciplined. And this is where most people stop. They wait for confidence. They wait for clarity. They wait for guarantees. But clarity follows commitment. Courage follows movement. Bezos didn't know Amazon would succeed. Daniel doesn't know if he will become the first millionaire in his family. But both understood something simple and uncomfortable: regret compounds faster than risk. And that internal shift is where wealth actually begins. There are 3 principles hidden in this moment. First, wealth begins with asymmetric thinking. Most people calculate downside. Builders calculate regret. Second, security preserves income. Ownership builds assets. Those are not the same. Third, you do not need to leap. You need to reposition. Skill by skill, decision by decision. This is how first-generation wealth is actually built. Quietly, intentionally, over time. Not with hype, not with luck, with disciplined direction. Maybe you are not facing a hedge fund resignation. Maybe your decision is smaller, a skill you've postponed learning, a risk you've been rationalizing away, a comfort zone you've protected for too long, but the pattern is identical. Every family has someone who decides to build instead of repeat. That person feels tension first, isolation next, clarity last. And if this feels personal, it's because it is. Becoming the first isn't about luck, it's about decision. If this resonated with you, the deeper psychological framework is inside my book, The First Millionaire in Your Family. This channel exists for those who choose to build differently. Subscribe if you are serious about becoming the first in your bloodline. And tell me in the comments, what decision are you avoiding right now? Because next episode, Daniel faces something harder than risk: isolation. And when you begin thinking differently, you begin standing alone. And that changes everything.